Hi everyone, this video is to give information about the new abyssal enemies coming to Starsector. There are exactly 4 types of enemies, and 3 encounter styles exist at First Let's Check Encounter Styles. When you go to a near abyssal light and interact with it, there is a chance to encounter nameless enemies. If you choose to go silent, you can manage to go without noticed, or you can fight lesser enemies. The fight will be easier, but less enemies equals to less rewards. If you choose wait, you will face with decent amount of enemies. You will be facing all 4 types of enemies, but there will only one amount of 3 superior types. The loot is decent. And if you order a sensor sweep, you're gonna attract more enemy attention. Superior enemies are more, and shroud tendrils may attack you with kamikaze style. I've never fought more than 1 shroud maw, but it's maybe luck. You can get shroud enemies hull mods, much likely. Let's continue with enemy types. Shroud Eye, it has very long range and does not load itself with flux. It can fire constantly from behind the enemy lines. I advise you to take them first since they are very fragile. They have 2 shroud tendrils on their side, always guards them. Shroud Eye can easily kill tiny ships in seconds. Shroud Tendril, it is the infantry of the enemies. They will be in front and sides harassing your capital ships. They have hull mods that whenever they took some amount of damage, they will launch back to safety. They are not hard to kill, but because of ruining back to safety, they are tiresome to kill. Shroud Maelstrom, it's the tickle artillery of the enemy ships. They always keep their distance from you and shoot you constantly. They don't do a lot of damage, but they always on your head. Because of the darkness of the abyss, all ship speed decreased 20%. You need faster ships to get them. They are likely to die last. Shrouded Maw is the capital ship of the enemy. It has a lot of HP and armor. It's hard to overload them. They are very tanky. They also run back to safety whenever they got damaged, but it also leaves some shroud that blocks your way and tanks your shots. It has shroud gun like a flame. Thrower deals constantly damage. It won't do damage at first, but after your ship's armor melted, slowly you're gonna start take lots of damage. I suggest you to have a long-range ship deals damage from the side. I used Invictus's gun to tear the enemy ships apart. The new shrouded enemies are likely to be creature-like Tyranids. When you overload them, they scream and get stunned and run back. EMP weapons are not effective. They look like creatures that are a combination of biology and technology. If you don't have late-game ships and weapons, I don't recommend you to try to kill them. If you can pull it somehow, go ahead because new weapons are very good. Now, let's see the new hull mods. Shrouded Lens. Shrouded Lens focuses on nearby object at random, dealing 75 damage and creates 75 flux. Rate of fire can be changed on the ship's hull size. It can be used for slow ships like Invictus for missile and defense. Downside of this hull is it can cause you ship to overload. Shrouded Mantle. Shrouded Mantle makes your ship recoil away from danger when taking substantial amount of hull damage. If you put this mod as an S mod, it increases ship's benefits from %50 of the healing provided by Hungering Rift. Hungering Rift is a missile that heals the ship if it deals hull damage. We're gonna get to that later. Shrouded Thunderbolt. Shrouded Thunderbolt fires Rift lightning bolts at locations recently hit by your ship's weapons. The amount of damage and flux generated depends on the ship's hull size. The probability of a bolt being fired increases with the number of hits landed over previous 5 seconds. Bolts are not triggered by weapons dealing soft flux damage, such as beams. Now, it's time for the weapons. Abyssal Glare. Abyssal Glare is a beam weapon. It has 800 range, it has 500 damage per second, and generates 500 flux per second, but has 1.0 flux EMP damage. And addition to that, it produces explosions that deal up to 100 point of energy damage to all nearby targets, including you. If you tank Shrouded Eye for a long time, it can destroy itself. It's a perfect beam for the Paragon melts down enemy shields and hulls. Pseudoparticle Jet. Pseudoparticle Jet is anti-shield flamethrower weapon. It has 600 range. It's slow but perfectly accurate. It cannot be useful against fast ships, but can easily overload capital ships. Hungering Rift. Hungering Rift is energy missile that has 2,000 range. It does 600 damage. And it has infinite ammo? It cannot shot 3 to 4 missiles at once. Missiles explode after a while. When the missile's gone new, missiles can be launched if the missiles hits the enemy ship's hull or armor, heals on of the Shrouded Dweller projections on the battlefield for 1,000 points. Rift Lightning. Rift Lightning has 600 range and deals 500 damage. It has 1,000 EMP damage. It fires an EMP arc at the target or that opens a rift that deals area damage. The weapon can miss the aiming point sometimes, but it can pass over friendly ships. Aminical Emanation is a small energy weapon. It has 500 range, it has 100 damage per second, and deals 500 EMP damage. It can be used as point defense or as suppression, fires at the nearest target on weapons current facing. It can be able to target phase ships. Always hits enemy ships, weapons, and engines. Hits on hull or armor causes weapon and engine repairs 2 times longer for 5 seconds. It's a perfect weapon for Afflictor for immobilizing enemies. By the way, if you want to see how to do this guy's quest, go on check Big Brain Energy's YouTube video, and it gives you a decent ship. When you add new hull mods to your ship, it adds a demonic red aura that can easily seen, and some factions don't like it.
You know, I'm something of a
demonic
myself.
Now I'm going to let you guys read the lore of the new hull mods and weapons.